As we all know, there is one thing that is universally hated by artists. That is drawing hands. Maybe you find yourself drawing hands like these. We have the spider hand, the lumpy turkey, or even the mitten. Or maybe you find yourself wanting to draw hands like this. Fun fact, all those drawings that you saw, I drew myself. I have been drawing for years now, so I understand the pain of trying to draw hands. But you don't have to get a headache every time you feel like going outside your comfort zone. I have some simple, easy tips and helpful hints that'll help you improve fast and maintain your skill. Alright, let's jump right in. Before you start, please look up references. Trust me, I cannot stress this enough, especially if you are someone who is looking to improve on your skills. There are a number of different kinds of references, so I'd like to bring them up. Pictures can be the most reliable option, but there are other helpful ones as well. For example, you can use your own hand. This also has the advantage of being able to examine your hand from different angles, and you'll always have it with you. You can also use a prop such as this clay sculpture or a mannequin. This, like your own hand, allows you to examine it from different angles, but it also provides stability and you don't need to worry if the pose changes slightly. The reason why it is important for you to have references while you are drawing is because when you draw from your memory, it leads to anatomy mistakes, disproportionate fingers or thumbs or palms. It also allows you to get more detail in. Maybe you just couldn't quite imagine that pose. But again, references make that easy. They do the hard work for you. Now that you've gotten your references ready, we can start on the drawing part. I will be using this photo as a reference. Things to keep in mind are movement and angle, 3D space and shape, curvature, details, and gesture drawing. In the following video, I will go into more detail with these, but when it comes to gesture drawing, I highly recommend doing this often. On time, I unfortunately was not able to show the drawing process, but I have prepared a series of images to show you the process, and I will talk you through. To begin, I did a sort of gesture sketch. As you can see, this is all very loose, sketchy. You can see my line of movement flow through here. It's important to note that the natural world is very messy, not often clean cut. This is not, I did not use any perfectly straight lines throughout the piece. Everything has a slight curve to it. The arm, the way it bends at the wrist, the slight curvature of the thumb as it points upwards. It's important to also know to think of it as in a 3D space. The palm is sort of like a rectangular prism, and the fingers are like cylinders that span off. I know it's a bit more complicated than that, but as you can see, there is 3D space to it. It is very important to keep in mind how things move in a 3D space. Again, picture references are not the best when it comes to this. I recommend, if you're having trouble with 3D space, using a 3D model or your own hand. It gives you a better gist of how things behave. Then, after I did erase it a little bit, but it's not perfect. I could not take the time, but I outlined this a second sketch in pen so you could see the way that I was able to add little details. With shading, this would definitely be better, but the little creases in the hand, the little web right here when it connects, this is right here where the palm is, but there's little webbing in between your hands. Little things like that might catch your attention. I'll let you look at this for a moment. The reason why I chose a pose like this is because it is simple, but a little bit more complicated than something like this. I wanted to do something a little bit more extreme so you can see it in a more exaggerated way. Here we can see my reference picture and my final product side by side. Please note that they are not exactly the same. It should not be exactly the same. The point of a reference is to merely assist you in creating your drawing. As you can see, there are many things to consider when drawing hands. Don't worry if you don't get it on your first try, I promise you'll get there. Hopefully my guide as well as my example were of some use to you, and if you follow it and take time to practice every day, you'll be drawing hands like a pro in no time.